name's Ariana, and I'm a walking accident zone. Seriously, I once knocked over an entire shelf of books in the library just by breathing. My clumsiness made me really popular at school. Well, if it isn't Ariana the klutz doing what she does best, tripping over oxygen. That's Maeve, my, drum rolls please, cousin. You're probably wondering how my own flesh and blood turned into my high school tormentor, so let's rewind. My grandma practically invented good food in our town. She owned the biggest restaurant around. She had 2 daughters, Mom and Aunt Mel. Mom gave birth to me, and Mel, Maeve. Mom totally inherited Grandma's skills. She could whip up a 5-star meal with her eyes closed. While Mom seemed naturally gifted in the kitchen, Aunt Mel was a complete disaster. After a series of intense cook-offs, of course, it was Mom who came out on top. Just before Grandma retired, she handed over the restaurant to Mom. Aunt Mel didn't take it well, and she passed that bitterness down to Maeve. From that day on, Mom officially took over the restaurant. With her natural gift for cooking, it didn't take long for customers to leave raving about her food. Within just 2 months, business was booming. Lines out the door, glowing reviews, and even praise from a few tough food critics. You're like a food wizard, Mom. People come in grumpy and leave floating on clouds. That's the goal, sweetheart. Mom loved her job, and she wanted me to take over someday. I did too, until I grew up and realized I was hopeless in the kitchen. I couldn't even boil water without triggering the smoke alarm. Every time I cooked, something went wrong. Every single time. By the time I turned 17, I didn't need a fortune teller to know I could never be like Mom. What on earth happened to you? And, what is this? The usual. Maybe I should give up. I'm not as talented as you, Mom. I just can't cook. Don't ever say that again. Maeve's out here getting thousands of views on our cooking channel. If you don't step up, the town will start calling her the rightful heir. Grandma might just hand her the restaurant keys. Mom wasn't just a great cook. She hated losing, especially when it came to family. So honestly, her reaction wasn't all that surprising. But Maeve was the one who got the talent like my mom. I took after her mom, Aunt Mel, the disaster queen. Like the universe swapped our DNA as a joke. So what now? You gonna disown me and adopt Maeve? Actually, Mom, maybe Maeve could help you out. You're carrying way too much alone. Maybe it would lighten your load. And maybe, just maybe, it could finally fix things with Aunt Mel. I don't want us all fighting. I want us to be family again. Mom stared at me for a moment. I felt my heart thump in anticipation and hope that I had gotten through to her. But then, no, let them stew in envy. Ugh, classic Mom stubbornness. Starting tomorrow, you will undergo intense training as my assistant chef. It's time people hear your name too. I thought Mom was crazy. I could barely cook dinner without burning down the whole place. And now I was going to be her assistant chef? No matter what Mom taught me, I had a special gift for turning the kitchen into a crime scene on a daily basis. Still, Mom never lost her cool. If I overcooked the chicken, she swapped it. If I oversalted the soup, she magically balanced it. Finally, my very first dish, with a lot of help from Mom, was served to an actual customer. Okay, she basically made the whole thing, but served it under my name. My daughter made it. She's a culinary prodigy, just like her mama. So yeah, the town started calling me the next Martha Stewart. Meanwhile, I was low-key freaking out. But Mom's faith in me kept me going. As long as she was by my side, I believed I could do it. But that didn't last long. One day, Mom suddenly got very ill. I took her to a hospital and found out that she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Since she had to stay in the hospital for a while for observation and treatment, she made me promise I'd take over the restaurant no matter what. But the kitchen was still a war zone for me. If anyone found out I couldn't cook, Mom's dream would shatter, and I was totally clueless about what to do. One afternoon, I was taking a stroll to clear my head when I met someone who could turn out to be the answer to my prayers. A new street chef who looked too cool for this town. And his food, I had no idea what kind of magic he was cooking up, but it had people lining up down the block just to get a taste. Spicy ginger rice right here. Who's next? So I decided to try it out. One bite of his food and it was like my brain threw a party. An idea hit me. If I could get a guy like him to cook for us, I might just save the restaurant and keep my mom's dream alive. I had to wait till evening to catch him, and even then, it wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. Hey, Chef Diego, right? Your seasoning is insane. What, you trying to steal my recipe or something? No, no, definitely not stealing. Just, your food's amazing. So that's it? No other reason why the restaurant's princess has been hanging around here all day? Uh-oh, he knew exactly who I was. No surprise, our restaurant was famous in this town. Okay, you got me. I need your help, please. Without responding, Diego climbed into the driver's seat to drive off. Rude, right? But I wasn't about to back down. So I did something absolutely insane. Hey! Are you trying to get run over, Chica? Only if it means you finally listen. Okay, maybe I'd lost it. But what else could I do? My confidence was gone. The family restaurant was hanging by a thread. You've got guts. I like it. Come in. You have 5 minutes. I got in quickly before he changed his mind and told him everything. Mom's illness, the promise, the mess I was drowning in. Please, I need someone who can actually cook. I need you. I'll pay you anything. For a second, I thought he'd laugh in my face. All right, I'll do it. We'll talk money after the deal's done. Really? But listen, I'm not going to be your shadow forever. You're going to learn. Every dish, every mistake. You're going to mess up, but eventually you're going to cook. Got it? Got it. And just like that, I had a secret chef. Thanks to Grandma's obsession with secret rooms, we had a private kitchen only the head chef could use. When Diego taught me, I thought he would be grumpy and all, but he was actually a sweetheart. Every evening, he patiently coached me. See the flip, slow and steady. Too fast, oil splashes, you panic. Boom, disaster. Stay calm and in control, and mistakes stay small. Your turn, Chica. Diego could teach me all day, but I had the talent of a rock for cooking. Day after day of practice, and I still wasn't getting any better. Just more burned food straight into the trash. After months of trying, I started to give up. All the practice, all the burnt food, it felt like I was going nowhere. So I made a reckless decision. I asked Diego to cook in my place. At first, he refused, but when I promised to pay him more than his entire monthly income from street food sales, he agreed. When food was ready, I served it in the main kitchen like it was mine, while Diego, the real chef, played the dishwasher. Everyone raved about the new and improved dishes. Critics stopped by unannounced, dropping shiny reviews. It felt like magic. While Diego did the actual cooking, I kept myself busy pretending. Chopping, stirring, plating. Just like that, our little illusion worked like a charm. The restaurant's reputation soared, and so did the profits. But good things don't last forever. 3 weeks after I hired Diego, Grandma invited me over, although I had one more trial week before she made her final decision. I've seen the news, Ariana. Your mom would be proud. You're doing great. That's why I'm thinking you'll make a good CEO. Ah! Finally! Everything I worked for had led to this moment. But then Grandma said something that dimmed my joy. I'd like Maeve to join you in the kitchen, too. She mentioned choosing this restaurant for her internship, and with all the buzz, I'm sure you could use the help. I smiled, but inside I was spiraling. If Maeve stepped foot in that kitchen, she'd find out everything. Grandma, actually, I don't need— You don't need what? Me? Don't be mean, sis. Unless you've got something to hide. And that was when my fate was sealed. I knew Maeve working here, even briefly, would spell trouble, but protesting would only make Grandma suspicious. You okay, Chica? No, Diego, everything's falling apart. I told Diego everything, but he didn't flinch. Listen, nothing is going to fall apart, okay? You're this close to your goal. Keep your head in the game. I got you. My heart filled with warmth and gratitude, but before I could say thanks, Maeve walked in. Well, if it isn't my dear cousin. And you are? He's Diego. He's the dishwasher. I hired him 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, huh? Yes? Is there any problem? Nothing. Just curious how a klutz like you suddenly became a cooking pro. Last year, you set a pot of boiling water on fire. People change. Then prove it. I can only cook in the secret kitchen. Really? Let's go in there then. I'm still clumsy, and it's worse around toxic personalities. So no, Maeve. Are you calling me I have work to do? Maeve didn't buy my story for a second. Her internship was just a lie. She came here to spy on me. And honestly, she was good at it. She noticed everything. Grease stains on Diego's shirt, how he magically disappeared when I was cooking in the secret room. The closer I got to taking over, the harder she tried to bust us. And one day, we slipped. Diego and I were cleaning up after hours of cooking. Then we heard a knock on the door. Diego barely got to hide when Maeve suddenly swung the door open. Oh, you're alone. Weird. I thought I heard voices. This is the head chef's room. You don't just barge in. Relax. Tomorrow's the big day. You're becoming the new owner and all. Consider these a peace offering. Edible flowers. You hated that I was taking over. Yeah, I did. But I was wrong. You've got real talent. Maeve's sudden kindness felt off, but I only cared about how I could get her out of my kitchen ASAP. Thanks. Could you carry this pot out front for me? As soon as she left, I dropped the flowers on the counter and locked the door. She's gone. I can't believe she came so close. You think she really came here to give you flowers? Nope. She was probably hoping to catch you in here. But she couldn't. Then we laughed. But I should have been more careful. I really should have. The long-awaited day came. Grandma was about to name me the new owner. Ariana, your mother would be proud. Today, I officially— Grandma, wait! Ariana is a fraud. She hasn't cooked a single meal. It's been him. Some of us are actually working hard to earn our chef title, and she's trying to cheat. How is that fair? My soul immediately left my body. Maeve, what do you mean? She never cooked in the main kitchen, and Diego always vanished when she was in there. I looked him up. He owns a food truck. Why would someone like that scrub dishes? Maybe I actually like working here. I have proof. To my horror, she took out the same bouquet she had gifted me yesterday, reached between the flowers, and pulled out a tiny recording device. She hit play, and our secret kitchen convo blasted through the speakers. I just wanted to disappear. How could you lie to us, Ariana? Before I could even answer Grandma's question, I just stood there, frozen, speechless. Maeve's taunts kept coming, each one sharper than the last. I could feel myself breaking, but right as I was about to turn and bolt, someone grabbed my hand. It was Diego. Yeah, she lied. But who in this life hasn't made mistakes? Ariana's been doing her best to keep this restaurant running, even though it was never her dream to begin with. She did it because of the heavy expectations from the people who claim to be her family. After hearing Diego's words, I was genuinely moved. I never imagined someone would understand me so deeply, and even have the courage to stand up for me. Grandma didn't say much. She just looked at me for a long time. I'm sorry I lied, but this place means everything to our family, especially Mom. I tried my best, but honestly, I'm gonna need some help. You want me to help? Maeve, I've always admired your cooking skills. I think we can make a great team. What do you say? Truce? In the end, I didn't just get the restaurant. I got a sister. Both Grandma and Aunt Mel softened up. A few days later, while Diego was preparing for the lunch rush at his food truck, I walked up to him. Diego? He was so surprised that a flower vase nearly slipped from his hand. Luckily, he caught it just in time. Someone's the clumsy one today. You sneaked up on me, Chica. What brings you here? I never got to pay you. So, what's your price? Ariana, the truth is, I didn't do it for money. The moment you stepped in front of my truck, like a lunatic, I fell for you. My heart just did a backflip. Diego! You were fire and chaos from the start, and I loved every second of it. Then stay in the chaos with me. The restaurant could use your help. Honestly, so could I. Diego lifted my chin, and our eyes met. I thought you'd never ask, mi amor. I still made a mess, but I've learned to accept it, laugh at it, and keep going. Mom was getting better. She was smiling as we walked in with flowers. She was about to go home soon. So there you go. I'm Ariana, a walking accident zone, but I've got an iron will. And when there's a will, there's always a way.
Here I was, confronting my greatest fear. Math! Wendy, focus. What is 9 plus 11? A, 19, or B, 21? The numbers whirled around me. Panic set in. 9 plus 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 19? No, 21? Great numerical gods, why is this so confusing? You're so extra. Sit up, I'll show you again. I still don't get why I have to do this, though. It's not like I'm going to school. Yeah, I quit school not long ago to help Mom out, making a couple of bucks. In case you haven't noticed, we're dirt poor. I'm Wendy, by the way. 15 and fabulous. Well, sorta. I know I'm a big silly goofball, but the good thing is my brother, Leo, does not share the same brain cell with me. That guy ate knowledge for breakfast. He went to this elite high school, on scholarship of course, and always the top student 3 years in a row. That's like genius. Mom also said he's our only ticket out of poverty. That's why she held 3 jobs at once, while I gathered scrap metal to sell to the scrapyard to support his study. The 3 of us have been working hard to create a better life for our family. But then, one afternoon, I suddenly noticed posters of Leo that accused him of breaking his classmate's arm. What nonsense is this? I tore them all down and rushed home to see a bunch of gangsters breaking our things. My mom and Leo were in the corner, begging them to stop. Stop! What on earth are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing, brat? I'm collecting compensation for your brother's victim. He messed with the wrong person. The son of a loaded family.
You got the wrong guy. Leo wouldn't hurt a fly. Right, Leo? I turned to him, but he just lowered his head in guilt and defeat. How much then?
$3,000.
3,000? You kidding, right?
Do I look like I'm kidding? Let her go!
Just stop it, all of you! Then Mom rushed to the kitchen and brought back all of our saving jars. They're about $1,000. Just take them and leave us alone. I'll pay the rest later. The thug let me go and grabbed the jars.
We'll be back next month for the rest.
Mom fell to her knees. She looked so hopeless amongst the mishmash.
Mom, Wendy, I'm so sorry. Please let me help. The school already suspended me for a whole month. I'll get a job. I'll pay for the debt. No, my boy. Use this free time to study. Once you come back to school, I want you to be the perfect student, so no one can ever look down on us again, okay? But what about the debt? Just leave it to me. I'll work some extra shifts here and there, and everything will be sorted. Now, go study. Thank you. Mom, I won't let you down again. Then he left the room. That's when Mom's smile wears off. I knew she only said that so Leo could have his peace of mind. The truth was, no amount of Mom's extra shifts could get us $2,000 by next month. I think if the math was right, it's time for me to save the day. I tried to get a job, but somehow they all lasted for only 1 shift. Like when I was waiting for this diner, all the food and drink just fell out of my tray. Or that time when I work at construction site and I got my foot stuck on the thing I just built. I came home feeling deflated. Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was Nathan, Leo's best friend. I could instantly feel my cheeks heating up. Hello, Erp to Wendy. Are you gonna let me in? Or are we gonna stand here, awkwardly?
Sure. Come on in.
You look, exhausted. You sure you're alright?
It's just the whole thing with Leo. I've been trying to get a job to pay for the debt, but nothing worked.
I'm sorry all that happened to your family, and I want to help you. But there's something you should know first.
After the talk, Nathan got me a job as a maid for his cousin Zach's house. Other maids were showing me around when, get out! A maid ran past us, crying her eyes out. What was that? That is the young Master Zach throwing a tantrum. He's the illegitimate son of the late master and was only brought here 5 years ago by his grandfather. And let's just say, Madame Linda, his stepmom, is not so thrilled about it. They've been on each other's necks ever since. The girl you just saw was Madame Linda's favorite. She's been a thorn in Master Zach's side for a while now. Then I gotta find a way to get on both their good sides, to prove that I'm perfect for this job. Okay, first day at work, Madame Linda was complaining about Zach's toy car collection, so I threw them all away. But Zach went bonkers on me and went rummaging through the junkyard to find every single one of them. Sorry, Master Zach, it's just Madame Linda. Oopsies. He immediately stormed off to confront Madame Linda. I felt bad, so to make amends between them, I cooked his favorite soup and told him that Madame Linda made it for him as an apology. But as he took the first bite, his face turned green and dashed to the nearest toilet. Whoops. One rainy day, I was taking the trash out and saw a strange woman peeking from the fence. She suddenly tripped, so I helped her up, asking if she was looking for someone, but she just ran away. Whoa, Jesus, how long have you been standing there?
Long enough. Come inside, it's freezing out here.
Sure. Later that day, I was cleaning Madame Linda's room when accidentally knocked over her jewelry box. It crashed on the floor, spilling jewelry everywhere. One of the bangles snapped in half. I frantically pocketed it to fix it later when the gruff butler swung the door open. I apologized and promised to fix the jewelry box, but he still insisted on firing me. Just then, Zach stepped in and ordered him to let it slide. Zach then stayed and watched me fix it.
Where'd you learn to do that?
It's nothing. I grew up in a trailer park. Everything we own came from the junkyard. They just need a little fixer-upper. I've been doing it since forever, so...
You got a gift. Besides, reusing things is cool.
Whatever you say, pretty guy. Say,
you want to hang out sometime?
Like a date?
Maybe.
Won't your girlfriend get jealous?
What girlfriend? I'm very single and ready to mingle right now.
Sure, why not? On the weekend, Zach took me to his favorite coffee shop, and I got to see a softer, more caring side of him. Turned out he never got a girlfriend, so I made him a flirting tutorial. For a price, of course. At first, I thought he was just practicing on me by giving me flowers and fancy chocolates. But then he continued to woo me with my own list. He set up a romantic picnic under the stars in the backyard, took me to the park, and we watched the enchanting sunset together. That night, we walked back to the mansion. Before coming inside, Zach stopped me.
These past weeks that I've known you have been the best moments of my life. Wendy, I think I've fallen for you. Will you be my girlfriend?
Where did you learn those cheesy words?
Do you like them? Is it hot in here? Or is it just you?
Stop! I just need you to promise to be on my side, no matter what.
I promise.
When Zach left, I returned to my room. I pulled out my diary and then ticked off the last box on my list. Well, it was fun, Zach, but everything must come to an end. Soon you'll pay for everything you did to my family. I knew the truth back when Nathan came to our house.
There's something you should know first. Your brother was tricked. He didn't start the fight. A guy mocked your poor family, so Leo turned aggressive. After the incident, the guy was salty Leo beated him, so he faked a broken arm and had his family come for yours. They don't need your money. They just want you to suffer.
And who's that guy?
He's Zach, my cousin. What he did was wrong, so I'm on your side on this. And there's another thing.
Nathan played a video of Linda and her thugs threatening my mom and demanding more money. My rage became scorching. That moment, I decided to get revenge. That's why I became a maid at Zach's house, sabotaged his relationship with Linda, and made him fall for me. Everything was going just as planned so far. But the next thing I knew, Mom called me to tell me that Leo had been expelled from school and ran away from home. My blood was boiling. That's it. Today's the day Zach goes down. I pulled out Linda's broken bangle and placed it on my bedside table. During the daily room check, the butler spotted it right away and informed Linda. She rushed over to reprimand me for stealing her jewelry. Just then, Zach swooped in to defend me. Zach, you have to trust me. I didn't steal it. I just wanted to fix it before turning it to Madame Linda.
Don't worry, I believe you. You heard her. I know you despise me, but don't you dare drag my loved one into this.
Oh, finally put it out in the open, huh? You and your low-life girlfriend. Birds of a feather.
You're right, we're alike, and that means we're nothing like you evil witch.
Ha! Let's see how you like it. Alone on the streets.
Guards, throw them out now!
The next second, Zach and I were dumped on the sidewalk along with our belongings. Watching him grappling his stuff, I couldn't help but chuckle. How does it feel to be discarded like an unwanted object? Enlightening, isn't it?
What are you saying?
You remember Leo, the person who broke your arm? Who you used to extort money from my family? I'm his sister.
I think you got it wrong. Leo didn't break my arm. He only shoved me to the ground and said something like, don't talk nonsense about his family. I didn't care, but Linda kept telling me to skip school the next day. She must have used me to make a fuss.
You mocked my family for being dirt poor. That's why Leo was so mad at you.
That's not true. I used to be poor too. You remember the woman lurking around the mansion? That's my real mom. She just wanted to make sure I was okay.
Turned out, Zach and his mom were abandoned by his dad because of their humble background. Then his grandpa found him. Though Zach didn't want to, his mom made him come with his grandpa, so he'd have a better life. But what his mom didn't know was that heck of a mansion was the coldest, most isolated place.
That is, until you came.
And it hit me. Zach is telling the truth. That meant I had taken revenge on the wrong person. Shoot! I am so sorry. I had no idea. And now you're kicked out, Leo's gone, and there's a huge debt. I don't know what to do.
Hey, it's all right. One thing at a time, Kay. I'm not mad at you or anything. I just wish you'd told me. But it's fine. I don't really like that house anyway. What about your brother?
He got expelled and left.
I'm sure he's okay. I'll help you find him, yeah?
Thank you, and I'm sorry. I don't know how to make it up to you.
You don't have to. I got a feeling you didn't come up with this twisted plan.
I didn't. It's actually your cousin, Nathan. I took Zach back to my place where he'd crash in the meantime. Mom was in tears. She told me that Leo was accused of plagiarizing an essay so he could no longer go to that school. But Leo's too smart to do such a thing. So Zach proposed we investigate at the school to find whose essay Leo supposedly copied. We broke into the school's computer lab that night. We were snooping around when suddenly Zach was grabbed from behind and dragged away. I slowly turned around and was shocked to the core. I sprinted to Nathan's house, banging on the door. Nathan! Zach was kidnapped! He's the heir to Adam's estate. They took him away for the ransom.
The heir? What do you mean?
Your grandfather's lawyer came to see Zach and I overheard him. Your grandfather's sick, so he authorized a lawyer to hand the will to his sole heir, Zach.
The will? Do you know where it is? If we swap it for a fake one with someone else's name on it, they'll release Zach and target that person instead.
Great idea. I think Zach left it in his bedroom. Maybe it's still there. Nathan and I hurried over to Zach's house. Nathan snuck into his bedroom while I was on the lookout at the door. Nathan switched the will for a fake one and took out a lighter and set it on fire. Just then, I turned on the light, scaring him to death.
What on earth, Wendy? Kill the lights or we'll be caught.
You mean you'll be caught? Then I opened the door, revealing everyone in his family and my brother Leo.
What's going on? Enjoying the taste of your own medicine, cousin?
Yeah, you just got busted. Remember when we were at the lab? I was shocked to the core to see my brother muffling Zach.
Shh, be quiet or we'll get caught.
Leo, I thought you left. Mom was worried sick.
I know, I'm sorry, but I need to sort this out. Things have been sketchy ever since that incident with this guy. And now with this, I gotta prove my innocence. So I came here and found this. Look.
Turns out Leo's essay was identical to yours, Nathan. You took advantage of me to get revenge on Zach when he wasn't to blame. You told Leo Zach was bad-mouthing our family to stir things up between them. You made our lives miserable. I trusted you.
I can't believe you'd go this far. You're always obsessed with Grandpa's inheritance. Everything's a competition for you to prove that you deserve to be a successor. All that work, but still nothing. Do you know how many sleepless nights I had to study? Or to hatch a plan, worrying Mom and Dad would blame me for not trying, for not being better? And you just showed up and everyone sees you as this golden child. And all my efforts have gone to waste. Why, Grandpa? Why not me? You were left out of the will due to your greed and scheming behavior. Now I know it's your parents' fault, and there will be severe consequences for them. And you, Nathan, you will join the army after graduation to serve the country, get disciplined, and come back a better man. Guards, take them away.
As Nathan made his exit, he paused at the sight of Leo and I.
I'm truly sorry for everything.
Then he walked out the door. In the end, Grandpa chose to give Zach his share of the fortune. Zach, however, refused. He never wanted the money. All he wanted was to live comfortably with his mom. So that night, he packed up his things and was ready to go back home, his true home. Seeing Zach, I realized bearing hatred towards someone cannot solve your problem. It just puts you through so much pain, and even hurt other innocent people along the way. It's best just to focus on yourself. You do you, and things will work out on their own. Like now that all mysteries are debunked, our family is free of debt, and Leo can go back to school, full scholarship. Also, to compensate for what we've been through, Zach's grandpa decided to start a charity fund, and my family was the first to benefit from it. They even helped my mom secure a steady job. As for me, I found a knack for making things and found my place as an apprentice at a pottery studio. My coworkers have become my extended family. They always make fun of me whenever he picks me up.
Hop on, we're going to a very special place today.
Where to?
It's a surprise. Hold tight.
Hi there, I'm Maxine Coleman. I'm the only daughter of two world-famous rocket scientists. Since I was little, I was brought along each time they made a television appearance, and my plus one was always my best friend, Gail.
What's your secret to such success? Well, we've both loved science since we were kids and decided to devote our lives to it. And family is our biggest motivation. It's not rocket science.
Whoa, your parents are so cool! On our way home, Dad asked me,
So, what's your dream, sweetie?
While I was scratching my head for an answer, Gail already said, I want to be a talk show host, just like that lady tonight.
That's great. You can definitely do it. Don't worry, Maxine. You'll soon know yours.
However, both Gail and I had problems learning. While Gail struggled to say a proper sentence, reading and writing gave me the hardest time. Naturally, we both hated school. My parents took me to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with dyslexia. He also said I'd have much difficulty in school and wouldn't achieve high academic results. I was quite upset to hear that, but my pop-pop, who was a high school teacher, wasn't pleased with that remark.
Nonsense. Maxine's very bright. Dyslexic or not, she'll succeed with the right method.
Since then, Pop-Pop began helping me and Gail study. Each time we finished a book, he'd give us little rewards. He also introduced us to sports and even brought us to cool places like museums, galleries, and aquariums. From the moment I stepped foot in the aquarium, I knew this place is right up my alley because dolphins! Look, it's following me! I immediately told my parents the good news that evening. I found my passion. I'll become a marine biologist when I grow up. Years went by, and school wasn't scary to us anymore. Thanks to my pop-pop, I'm now at the top of my class and excel at biology. Dyslexia didn't have much effect on me. Meanwhile, Gail got rid of her stutter and became much more confident. We're like Superman and Batman, always side by side, working towards our own dream.
Professor Coleman, please tell us more about your latest research on marine life.
This is my life's work, which has been under development for the last decade. We both got into an elite high school, which would be a good jumping pad for our future. But unlike in middle school where I could learn at my own pace, I had to bend over backwards to have a good GPA since the curriculum here is so intense. Unfortunately, dyslexia returned due to stress, making things even harder for me. In class, I had to look up the dictionary every 5 minutes, which slowed me down. One time, I stayed in class during recess to correct all the D's and B's that I'd mixed up in my essay. That alone got me called nerd. On the contrary, the pretty, extroverted Gail already became the face of the students' council, and she still tried her best to help me. That's right, this is just a minor setback. But that's not all. Yesterday, my chemistry teacher asked me to read the lab safety rules. Don't taste or sniff. You should be wafting the spell. What? I mean, smell. Sorry. We're in chemistry class, not Potions 101, Professor Snape. That's how Snape became my nickname, all because of that Robbie guy. Everyone loved his shenanigans, and he got away with everything because he's a rising track star. But really, he's the villain in my story. Lately, Gail and I had less time to chat because she's so busy, hanging out with Robbie. They met when Gail interviewed him for the school paper. Worse still, she often defended him, saying I'd like him once I got to know the guy. Ugh, no thanks. Besides, it seems that Gail's making achievements towards her dream. Meanwhile, I could barely handle studying and getting along with my classmates. Then came a time when every student who wished for a head start into a prestigious university needed to see the college counselor, Mrs. Morales. She said that my grades were pretty good, but I'd also need a good personal statement. It's supposed to capture the essence of who I am and show that I'm ready to commit myself to my future. Simple enough, right? But when it comes to actually writing, why is it so hard? Am I doubting my own plan? Can I really be a marine biologist? At dinner, I tried to bring this up to my parents, but it seemed they're already thinking I'm a marine bio student. Guess there's no turning back now. I called Gail to the aquarium to help me clear my thoughts. She was late, so I went to catch up with my dolphin friends. They actually calmed me down. Suddenly, a screeching voice took me out. You're dyslexic because you speak dolphins language? Should we find Dolphinese books for you? I turned around to see Gail and an entourage of her new friends and that buffoon. They started giggling. No word in the English language could describe how mad and humiliated I was. Did you really need to bring them here just to embarrass me? I walked away, but accidentally headed to a glass tunnel. It felt like I was fully submerged underwater. The horrible memory of the time I fell through ice into the deep, dark, frozen cold water came rushing back. I immediately dashed outside. Max, wait! I turned around to see Gail running after me. Watch out! A car's coming! I quickly pushed her away. The car didn't hit her, but she's injured. We brought her to the hospital ASAP. But when she came to, Gail couldn't speak. Her doctor said her vocal cord was temporarily paralyzed due to neck and chest trauma. That meant Gail could no longer present the school sports day. I was overcome with guilt. Gail told me,
I'll be all right. Sorry about earlier. I thought bringing our classmates would cheer you up.
She even said that I should keep chasing my dream and not let anything hold me back. I was so touched, but somehow, her words made me feel so pressured. I'll even work harder from now on. After that day, Robbie kept following me around trying to apologize. I avoided him like the plague. One day, I even skipped English, and when I got back, my classmates were buzzing about some substitute teacher named Mr. Coleman. They seemed so excited, since he didn't make them do any work and only told them fun anecdotes. Huh? That name rings a bell. And later my suspicion was confirmed when I met with my grandpa's angry and disappointed look after school. I obviously went home to a raging storm, but it didn't matter. I used this chance to spill my guts about how exhausting school was, how annoying it was to be picked on by an absolute moron all the time while my bestie wasn't by my side. Strangely, Grandpa listened attentively, then simply said he'd handle it. A few days later, he revealed that his way of handling it was making me that dimwit's tutor. Worst idea ever! Even though Pop Pop guaranteed that clown would work with me, I still wanted to kiss that jock with an uppercut. I ranted to Gail thinking she'd help me out of this. Unexpectedly, Gail also told me to give him a chance. Then, I might see his good side too? Right at that moment, the idiot appeared with a Nintendo Switch. How immature! That's my cue to leave. After the first lesson, I realized any regular teaching method could never hold this dummy's attention. But I can't just give up. Pop-Pop taught me that there's no bad students. Fine, I'll find the right way to make him study. So, I showed him YouTube videos on biology to keep him focused, taught him the periodic table song, and talked about world history in his language. In 1914, after the Austrian Archduke was unalieved, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and Russia was like, say less, we got you, bro. Then Germany wanted to be the main character and waged war when literally nobody asked.
So, you're saying World War I started mostly because the German Empire was pressed about being mid?
Yes, brother. After some time, Robbie's grades went from D and F to C and B, while I no longer had to cram like before, since preparing lessons for him helped me remember everything naturally. Studying suddenly wasn't so hard anymore, and maybe Gail was right. This guy wasn't that terrible after all. One afternoon, Robbie shared some good news.
Hey, my track meet went so well. Thanks for helping me with my grades, or else I would have been disqualified. Let's celebrate!
Congrats! Can't celebrate without Gail. I heard she just got back from the hospital. Let's come to her place and get nuts. Moderately, though. Robbie passionately talked about his great achievement, while I told Gail that we're getting along now, but Gail seemed unenthusiastic. Then she coldly asked us to leave. We were both so confused. I asked Gail's mum and found out that most of her injuries had healed, except for her vocal cord. She's undergoing treatment, but her doctor was unsure how long it would take for her to talk again. Poor girl. Suddenly, Gail rushed out to put a piece of paper in my hand, then ran away. On my way home, I read the note. It's all your fault. If you didn't run, none of this would have happened. I'd rather get hit by a car. It would have only given me a broken arm. It's you who killed my dream. That's Gail's true feelings? Her words cut deep. When Gail returned to class, she didn't talk to anyone, and of course avoided me and Robbie. One time during recess, Mrs. Morales came to me and complimented my personal statement. She even said that if I kept up my GPA, I should have it all in my bag. That means my essay didn't seem as pretentious as I thought, right? Robbie was so happy for me, but I saw Gail's glare out of the corner of my eye and immediately signaled for Robbie to keep it down. At lunchtime, he asked if I was upset because of Gail. Not really. She'll perk up when she gets better.
So, why the long face? Did Mrs. Morales say you have a bright future ahead of you?
I'm not sure anymore. I made myself out to look like someone fully committed to marine biology in my essay, but deep down, it felt like I was lying. I can't even get close to water after falling through the ice that one time. I suddenly felt my throat closing and my eyes watering. I instinctively stood up and left without saying another word. I wanted to talk to my mother about this as soon as I got home, but I arrived in the middle of her conversation with Gail's mom. She brought us the good news. Voice therapy worked, and Gail could talk now. That's amazing. Gail's mom said she's waiting for me at the park, so I went straight there. At the park, I saw Gail standing by a pond. Thank goodness you can talk again. I always knew you'd recover for your dream. My dream? It's turned to ashes. Then Gail told me that although she could talk again, her buttery smooth voice didn't return. Oh no, I was dead inside and tried my best to comfort her. I still believed she could overcome this and regain her voice, the same way she got over her stutter. Easy for you to say. Do you know what it's like to have a demon in your throat? I don't even recognize myself anymore. No, you can still... How about you? Can you get over your fear to achieve your dream? Come on now, do it! With each line, Gail put another step forward, pushing me closer to the edge, until there was only a few inches between me and the water. Go on, it's for your dream. What are you afraid of? Gail took one more step, and I fell into the pond. My trauma took over me. I panicked, thinking this was it. Then someone pulled me out. Robbie! You're insane! She could have died! Gail just ran away crying. Don't yell at her. I shouldn't have picked at her wound. Also, this should be a practice for when I become a marine biologist. Seriously? Or are you just scaring yourself even more? My family expects this much from me. If I gave up on my dream because of a tiny little accident from when I was 13, I only have myself to blame. Dream this, dream that. Are you sure that's what you really want to do, and not just a 6-year-old girl's dream? Robbie's words jolted me awake. It's true that I no longer enjoy studying as much as when I was learning with Pop Pop. Every ounce of effort I put out recently was solely for a far-fetched dream that I'm not even sure if I want anymore. I don't want to disappoint my parents, but I can't keep struggling like this for the rest of my life. But I've held on to this dream for so long and worked so hard for it. What do I do if I give up now? You'll figure it out. Take your time. I used to play football and was sure that I'd become an NFL player. Then at one point I realized that's not my thing, so I quit. And after trying out many different things, I fell in love with track. Change isn't the end of the world. I can't believe it took me this long to realize that it's too early for me to commit. Change is normal. But what if I never find my life's ultimate goal, and I'm just wasting time? Jeez, chill, man. You're making someone like me, who couldn't care less about school, actually enjoy studying. You're living life and putting some good into the world. Ain't no time wasted. No need to be Martin Scorsese. You mean marine biologist, right? But thank you. I needed that. I came home to see Gail crying to my very concerned parents. Mom jumped to embrace me when she saw that I was drenched.
Gail told me everything. Why didn't you tell us? We're so proud of you, and nothing would ever stop us.
So, Gail revealed my fear of water from that accident when I was 13, and how much I tried to overcome that fear from my childhood dream. It's so difficult for me to talk about it, mostly because I can't admit to myself that accident left a scar on me, so I'd suppressed my pain all this time. Telling both my parents about it now actually felt liberating. Luckily, they're very understanding and allowed me time to find my true calling. As for Gail, I'm sorry. I was so frustrated with myself that I put it all on you. It's not your fault. Turned out, when Gail ran off, she was hiding behind a bush nearby and overheard my conversation with Robbie. His surprisingly wise take moved her as well. Gail said she'd keep doing therapy for as long as it'd take. Yes, I believe in you. If voice therapy doesn't work out, becoming a heavy metal rock star doesn't sound too bad. Wow, really? I thought Robbie was talking for a second there. After that, it was business as usual, but there's less pressure on me. I actually made a new friend this year and got closer to my best friend. Gail's voice is improving, and she's also having fun exploring other avenues besides talk show host now. Summer came in the blink of an eye, and I decided to volunteer at a school for students with learning disabilities. I wanted to help other dyslexic people like me learn to the best of their ability, the same way Pop Pop helped me. It sounds like a good start for my own self-discovery journey. That could be my dream job. If it's not, I'll keep looking. I was enjoying my perfect Friday night, watching my favorite YouTuber's latest video, when it got interrupted by a phone call. Tessa, the cops arrested me! Dress as my mom and come bail me out! That was Katie, my annoying cousin. She's the biggest troublemaker I know, which is why my aunt sent her to live at my house, in hopes that we could help change her attitude. Poof! So now I have to sneak into Mom's closet and borrow some of her clothes. How do I apply makeup to look older? Ugh, that'll have to do. So, officer, what trouble's she in this time? She vandalized a car. Not me, Mom. Blame the dumb car that got in my way. Jeez, if I were really Katie's mom, I would let her rot in jail until she came to her senses. I was about to lead Katie out of there when a boy grinned at me and said, "Madam, can you bail me out too?" Sorry, but no. You're not my problem. Okay, well, then can you at least give me your number? I spotted Katie frown at him, then she pulled on my arm. Let's go home, Mom. Katie, can't you grow up? I can't cover for you forever. You'll do it, else I may just accidentally slip out your little secrets to your parents. Ugh, that threat sure is getting old. Okay, so I didn't bail out Katie out of choice. You see, she has something over me. The thing is, I have a passion for baking, but my parents think this is a waste of time. I knew they'd never knowingly pay for my cooking classes, so I told them I needed money to join an extra study class. I know it sounds bad, but I did apply to work at a coffee shop bakery so I could pay them back while also gaining experience. But then Katie discovered my secret, and now she's using it to control me. Then, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I arrived home to find my parents waiting up for me in the living room. Tessa, you were out partying, weren't you? Why do you keep on disobeying us? And is that my dress? Why can't you be more like Katie? She's really improved her grades. I turned around to see that Katie was nowhere to be seen. She must have quickly escaped through the back door to her room. What a minx! But my parents still believed she's the golden girl. Poof! It's rubbish, of course. The good grades she brought home were all by cheating. If it weren't for Katie knowing my secret, I so would have exposed her by now. Actually, besides Katie, there's also Celia, my best friend, who also knows about this. She may be a hothead, but when it comes to my secrets, I know her lips are sealed. Hey, Tessa, you have to see this. Celia waved her phone in my face. Hang on, that was BitKit Bakes, my all-time fave YouTube channel. I'd been following this guy for ages. He was so talented. Oh, and he always wore this cute kitty mask. Look at his hands. They're so beautiful. And how I adore his warm voice. I bet he's really handsome, too. Celia is so smitten with boys. Ugh, it's Katie again. She's left her lipstick in the canteen and I've got to fetch it for her and take it to some cafe in town. This is ridiculous.
I'm sure she could survive without her stupid lipstick for one afternoon. I walked into the cafe and spotted Katie sitting with two boys. Wasn't that the boy from the cop station? Turns out he's called Max, and he's Katie's new boyfriend. And the other guy is Cody. Both of them are college students. Hey, Tessa, you should stay for cake. Seeing as I was here, I may as well have something sweet, right? So I ignored Katie's eye rolls in my direction and joined them. The waiter brought some chocolate fudge cake over and, yum, it sure looked good. I took a forkful of it and, something wasn't quite right. This cake could use some salted caramel. Poof, a cake needs to keep its original flavor. If you add that to it, it'll be far too sweet. Oh, how rude. I was only voicing my opinion. Right at that moment, Celia phoned me. I just answered when she started screaming so loudly, and I had to hold my phone away from my ear. Tessa, Tessa, Tessa! Celia, is everything okay? I know how to impress the Big Kid Bakes guy. We must make him a DIY gift. A chocolate resin phone case. What do you think? Am I a genius or what? I noticed Max, Cody, and Katie all giving me strange looks. Jeez, this was so embarrassing. So I quickly hung up on Celia, then made my excuse to leave. Ugh. I liked it better when only I knew about BitKit Bakes. I watch his videos every day and daydream about baking with him. But now Celia's obsession over him was kinda tiring me out. She texted me nonstop to ramble about him and dragged me into her silly fan projects. She even joined this online fan club of his, and they all talked about how fit he looks, how handsome he must be. Hello, does anyone here really care about cooking? At least work meant I had a break from Celia's mithering. Ugh, what was he doing here? He bought 2 cups of coffee, then asked to borrow my phone because his was out of battery. I reluctantly handed over my precious phone, but then I heard a ringtone. Max excitedly took his ringing phone out of his pocket and said, "So now I have your phone number, cute girl." What? The cheek of him! I'm his girlfriend's cousin. Has he no shame? I gave him a dumbfounded look, but he just smiled, handed back my phone, and winked at me. "I saved my number in your phone. Give me a call." Then he left. He'd just reached the door when I snapped out of my daze. The phone case. Our chocolate phone case. Why did he have it? It's one of a kind, and we've already sent it to BitKid Bakes. Didn't we? I was about to run after him to clear this up when Katie appeared. "Max, why did it take you so long to buy coffee?" Then she stormed over to the counter as soon as she spotted me. "Stay away from my boyfriend, or your secret goes parent public, okay?" Katie glared at me and dragged Max away. Even though they were leaving, I could still hear her voice. "Don't talk to that girl. I don't like her." Huh? What on earth? Who wants her boyfriend anyway? How irritating. One evening, I was lying on the couch and thinking about whether Max could really be BitKit Bakes when Celia excitedly ran over. "I have our mysterious idol's phone number!" Oh no, here we go again. Celia was way too excitable sometimes. "So, a secret source that's in the fandom sent it to me. I wonder if this is his real number." You really believe that's BitKit's number? Let's just give it a try. We have nothing to lose. It would be a lie to say I wasn't any tiny bit curious. So I entered the phone number, and as soon as I pressed the call, Max's name appeared on the screen. Huh? What's this? I quickly hung up and turned to tell Celia that it was just a fake number. If Max is really our idol, then I don't want Celia getting muddled up with my crazy cousin's love life. Celia just shrugged and said, "It's okay, I'll find another way." Then she did that sticking tongue-out concentration face of hers as she fiddled around on her phone. The next day, I got home from my shift feeling a little worn out, but Celia still wouldn't give me a break. She came right over and dragged me out somewhere. "Where are we going?" I asked, but Celia just kept silent. Then we stopped in front of a small white house. At that point, Celia said, "My source says this is BitKit Bakes' home. We're about to meet the most amazing guy ever." Before I could react, Celia ran to ring the doorbell. And as soon as the door opened, standing in front of us were Max and Katie.
Tessa, why are you here?
You know him? This is Max, Katie's boyfriend. We were on our way to a friend's party, but it seems like we have the wrong house. Sorry for bothering you. Then I hurriedly pulled Celia's hand to leave, but Max stopped us.
Oh yeah? Then you must have come to the right house. We're having a party, so join us.
I quickly waved my hand to refuse, but Celia immediately said, "That would be great!" And then, ignoring Katie's death stares, pulled me inside. So turns out Max lives here with Cody and this guy called Trevor. I'll find out which of these three boys is our idol. Wait for it. Celia made up some excuse about loving their decor and wanting to see the rest of it for inspiration. Trevor, who seemed to like her, jumped at the opportunity to show her around. Meanwhile, I wandered into the kitchen to try and solve the BitKit Bakes mystery myself. Max was in there making himself an egg sandwich, but oh my god, had he never touched a whisk before? He's so clumsy. I don't think there would be much of the egg left in the bowl after he's done whisking. The kitchen counter was full of food for the party, so I decided to give them a hand. Let's see. I spotted a bowl of cookie mixture, which looked like it could use some special ingredient, so I reached for the jar of sugar. And as expected, a hand stopped me. But Cody?
What are you doing? You use brown sugar for cookies, not white. You don't want to end up with a load of air pockets, do you?
Yes, of course I knew that. And I also knew BitKit had once said those exact words in one of his previous clips. So, the anonymous idol is Cody? But Max's phone case was the one we sent to our idol, and the idol's phone number that Celia found was also Max's. This was so confusing, and I needed answers, so I asked Max to go outside with me. You aren't BitKit Bakes, right? Why do you have that phone case?
Oh, so you figured it out? Yeah, I know you sent it to Cody, so I intercepted it. I'm also the anonymous fan who gave Celia this address. It's fate, baby. You and me are meant to be together.
Then he lunged towards me with outstretched arms. Oh my god, did he have tentacle arms or something? I couldn't escape from his grip. Then who should appear but, yep, Katie. She charged over, then pushed me, falling to the ground. Cody appeared and tried to stop the fight, but Katie's flailing arms knocked into him and caused his wrist to brush against the hot barbecue grill. I quickly went to check on Cody, but Katie just screamed out, "I hate you!" then ran off with a shameless Max in hot pursuit. We then went to Cody's room to get the first aid box. Hang on, I recognize that mask. Don't worry, I'll keep your secret. But maybe this arm shouldn't be on screen for a while. Celia has, like, the best detective sense.
Yeah, I guess. I'm thinking maybe a cute girl like you should wear the cat mask for the next few videos. What do you think?
Are you sure? Your fans might speculate that the girl would have some kind of special relationship with you. Gosh, what am I saying? Wake up, Tessa. I should go. Right, there's something important waiting for me to handle at home. What a messy day. I couldn't carry on being under Katie's control any longer. I needed to confess all to my parents before she told them. Only, when I walked through the door, I heard these weird sounds coming from the living room. It was Katie bawling her eyes out on the couch. I ignored her and was about to go upstairs, but suddenly, she ran over to me and hugged me. Tessa, I'm so sorry for pushing you. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. I just really love Max, and it breaks my heart knowing he's such a womanizer. It's okay, but you seriously deserve way better than that jerk. So Katie and I made up, and she also promised that she wouldn't blab my secret to my parents. But I want to tell them the truth. I mean, I can't lie to them forever, right? And when they see how much baking means to me, they'll support me, right? Hey guys, so I entered a baking contest and invited my parents along. And guess what? I won the Best Newcomer prize. Eek! Better still, my parents congratulated me and told me that if I loved baking this much, I should follow my dreams. Oh, and I did use the prize money from the contest to pay them back. Cody's been a massive help. He's given me some great tips and, actually, we've started dating. It's early days, but Being with him makes me feel as happy as eating freshly made cookies. And as for Celia, well, she's still pretty convinced that Trevor's her idol. One day I'll introduce her to the real BitKit Bakes. Soon.
Why did this fence have to be so high? Oh no, that didn't sound good. It was time to get out of here. But, I seemed to be stuck. Suddenly, a security team was blinding me with a flashlight and telling me not to move. Not that I could anyway. They dragged me down. Then the next thing I knew, I was being pushed into a chair and interrogated by security guards. But all they got out of me was silence. A few minutes later, Mr. and Mrs. Langston showed up. Yeah, they're the wealthy couple who owns this mansion. They're the people that I was looking for. I suppose I did owe them an explanation. I'm sorry for this disturbance, but it's not what you think. I saw your job advert for a housemaid, and I wanted to apply, but the guard said I was too young and refused to let me in. The thing is, my dad has a rare heart condition, and if he doesn't receive treatment soon, then chances are he won't make it. I really don't have any other choice, so please can I have the job and also 6 months salary advance? Right at that moment, a girl my age fell into the room, peered at the Langstons, then started laughing.
Carla, this is not acceptable. Aren't you ashamed of your appalling results for the Francis Academy entrance exam? You should be studying hard to redeem yourself, not out partying at this hour.
This Carla girl just rolled her eyes at them, then wobbly walked off. I noticed Mr. Langston comforting his wife, who seemed to be in much distress at the girl's inconsiderate behaviors. So this must be their daughter then. They sure seem to take her education seriously. And she applied to my school. That gave me an idea. You know, if you want to improve Carla's academic performance, I can help you. They both gave me skeptical looks, so I showed them my academic records and told them how I was a valedictorian and had successfully scored a scholarship at Francis Academy. On hearing about my achievements, any apprehensions they had soon faded. And so, they'd come up with a plan. A risky one. They would pay for my dad's hospital fees until he fully recuperated if I took on the identity of Carla and flew to South Korea to study at an international high school there, while Carla would take my place and enroll at Francis Academy just as they wished. This deal sounded like the answer to my prayers, but I knew it would be tricky. Pretending to be somebody else in a completely different country was beyond my understanding, so I agreed to do it, but only on 2 more conditions. First, a guardian must be present, who would take care of all my paperwork and stuff. Second, after I completed the deal and returned, the Langstons had to help me get into my dream school, the prestigious GBA University, obviously. They gave it a thought, then shook my hand in agreement. It looked like we had a deal! The next thing I knew, I was in an elite neighborhood in Seoul, Korea. Whoa! Talk about luxury! So this was what it felt like to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Mr. Preston dropped me off at school and repeatedly told me not to draw attention to myself. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, Mr. Preston is the Langstons' lawyer, and according to the contract, he's also my guardian. He seems oh so serious, but I guess he's okay. Whoa, this school looked so modern. The architecture was a work of art all in itself. I wandered around the endless corridors and tried to find my class. Everyone seemed quite friendly, and the class president, Minjun, even gave me a guided tour. All the students' outstanding paintings, photos, and models were displayed all across the campus. Countless classrooms of different subjects, from science to art, just made me gasp in awe. I was admiring the artwork when suddenly Minjun blurted out,
Sorry, I've got to go. Miss Lee is looking for me. It'll only take a few minutes, so wait here for me, okay?
Then he rushed off. So I lingered around the hall. That's when I spotted a group of girls nearby. I recognized the one from my last class. I'm sure her name was Isabella. I was about to walk over to greet them
when I realized they had this one girl cornered and were making fun of her hairband. Ugh! Where did you get that horrid thing from? I suppose it must have come from some thrift shop or something. I heard that's where poor people shop. Ugh, this whole thing disgusted me. They outcasted someone just 'cause she didn't come from ridiculously rich households like them. I knew that poor girl's feeling all too well. I'd gotta help her. But I didn't want to get anyone's back up and draw attention to myself. What could I do? Ah, got it! Hey, the teacher's coming. I'll stall her for you guys. Run! My plan worked a treat, as Isabella and her friends nodded at me, then rushed off. I then went over to the girl asking if she was okay. Get away from me! She flinched me off her and then ran off. Huh? I was only trying to help. As I turned around, I saw Minjin looking at me. A bit impressed, I think. He told me that the students here were divided into 2 groups. 90% are rich, and the remaining 10% are poor kids entering under scholarships. Most of the students are quite friendly to each other. Well, except those I just witnessed. Isabella's part of the rich kid group who think their upbringings make them superior to others. She's often mean to the 10% group as she believes they don't deserve to be here. And as you can guess, that girl they upset, she's called Susie. She's in the 10% group, and she's the smartest student in our year. What nonsense! School is school. We're here to study and should all be treated equally.
Too right, new girl. I knew there was something different about you.
The next day, when class was over, Isabella tapped on my shoulder and thanked me for the warning. Then she asked me to join her group for lunch. I was about to politely refuse when Minjin appeared and asked me to join him. Phew. Thanks to Minjin, I had an excuse to quickly flee the scene. However, I did look back and see that Isabella was giving this offended look. After that, Minjin and I started hanging out more. We soon became close friends, and we both decided that the dynamics around here needed to change. So, we set out to help the 10% club. One lunchtime, Isabella and her clan purposely bumped into this boy, causing him to spill food all over himself. While they laughed and pointed at him, I rushed over there, took the food, and slammed it onto Minjin's face. Minjin immediately understood my intention. Then he also took a handful of noodles and smeared it all over Isabella. Cue the canteen erupting into one big, messy food fight. Another time, the school was preparing for a cultural fair. One boy from the 10% group had this awesome idea to open a food stall serving traditional dishes from different countries. Everyone agreed, apart from, yep, you guessed it, Isabella and her snooty besties.
Such a peasant. Too used to working as a waiter to serve others, huh?
I winked at Minjin. Then we stayed behind and secretly wrote Isabella and her friends' names on the list of participants and submitted it to the teacher. Now, they had no choice but to serve food at the super crowded fair. The funniest part was they finally got a taste of their own medicine when the 10% group made the most of ordering them around and complaining.
Ew, this ratatouille is too bland. Add some more salt.
And this milk tea is too sweet. Start a new batch with less sugar. I have to admit, I was enjoying watching the mean kids squirm. But I guess my enjoyment hadn't gone unnoticed, as afterward, Isabella approached me.
Those peasant kids aren't at the same level as you and I. I suggest you put more care into who you choose to associate with, or you could end up being treated like they are.
Whatever. I just rolled my eyes, walked away from her, then continued to hang out with my friends in the 10% group. Isabella and her minions gave me dirty looks, but due to the Langstons' name and fortune, that's all they could do. Just like that, my high school years passed by. I had some great friends. And guess what? Yep, I was now dating Minjin. I loved being here in South Korea, and I'd even grown fond of Preston, who despite being a grumpy gut, now felt like family to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I missed my family back home like crazy. But Dad was getting better now, and we regularly FaceTimed. As amazing as my life was now, deep down I always felt like I was living in a dream. None of this truly belonged to me, and everything would be over as soon as I left this place. And eventually, My last week here arrived. As I was studying for my last ever exam, the SAT, I received a message from an unknown number. I know your secret. Drop out of the test, else I'll expose you. What? Who could it be? I called the number and a distorted voice answered the phone. I begged them to tell me why they were doing this, but they just replied,
You don't need to know. Just do as I said.
Then they hung up. Luckily for me, Preston isn't just an amazing lawyer, he's also a tech genius. Thanks to him, we tracked down the location of the phone. I bet you're just as curious as I am to find out who it was. And now was the moment of truth. Huh? No way! Standing there looking startled was Susie! Why would she do this to me? It made no sense. I mean, I know we weren't friends, but I had nothing against her. Why did she despise me to the point of willing to ruin my life like this? Please let me explain. Ever since you arrived here, I lost my top spot at school, which means I've also lost a full scholarship to college. My family will never be able to afford it themselves, so I decided to investigate you. And that's when I found out that you were not the real Carla Langston, and you got paid by her parents to achieve all these academic records for her. I get why you're upset, but you didn't have to blackmail me. You don't strike me as someone who would do such a thing, so it's kind of disappointing that you did. I'm not. I'm a dead end, Irene. You have to understand. This is my entire future I'm losing here. And what for? So some rich, spoiled girl can get into college without doing any of the work? It seemed like I had a lot of thinking to do. In the end, I realized all I felt towards Susie was pity. This was all my fault, and it wasn't fair for someone as capable as Susie to have her entire future ruined because of me. So I had to be the bigger person here. I decided to ask the Langstons to give Susie the spot at GBA University, which was previously reserved for me as part of the deal. I mean, no worries. With this big brain, I could easily get in there on my own, right? And so, as soon as I was done with the test, I quietly left South Korea behind, without saying goodbye to anyone, including Minjin. Susie and I boarded the same flight back to the state. She couldn't help but thank me all the way there. And, well, let's just say, by the time the plane landed, we became good friends. But things didn't all go as swimmingly as I intended. It turned out Carla was even more negligent than first thought. All she managed to get was a high school diploma with shockingly bad grades. These were now my bad grades. My dream of attending a prestigious university was over. I just have to make do with a community college instead. A year flew by, and there wasn't a single day that I didn't think about South Korea or Minjin. I couldn't talk to him anymore. I promised the Langstons I'd cut all ties with my life there. I mean, Susie was the exception. One day while going out with Susie, she was showing me something interesting on Facebook, when we happened to scroll past a post of Minjin's, which read, "Finally I found you, the love of my life." My heart sank. Wow, it looked like he'd found someone else, while my heart still pined for him. But life still goes on, and a week after that, I was waiting for Susie outside of her college, daydreaming how this could have been my life. I saw a familiar face heading towards me. Was that Minjin? But wait! He was with a girl. Carla! Hang on, his Facebook post was about her? The love of his life was Carla? I couldn't do this right now, so I willed back tears as I took a deep breath and turned to walk away. But suddenly, I felt a hand pull me back. It was Minjin.
It's really you! I finally found you! I've been looking ever since graduation, and then my information led me here and to...
Me! Carla appeared next to him and smirked at me. Hey, who am I to stop the course of true love? So I told him your real name and helped him search for you. I mean, you're smart, so I figured you'd attend this university too. No, you messed up my grades, remember? Anyway, it doesn't matter anymore. I turned and looked at Minjin. I'm so sorry, Minjin. I wanted to tell you everything, but I couldn't. He took my hand in his
and gave me this adoring smile.
I found you. And trust me, right now, that's all that matters.
Let me tell you something. Something really important. I have acrophobia, so this is my idea of a nightmare. I don't want to be here at all. Oh, and that guy on the other side is Charlie. He's my boyfriend, but I don't actually like him like that. So you're probably wondering how I ended up here, 200 meters above the ground and about to make this terrifying leap? Well, let's just start from the beginning. Hi, I'm Luna, a 17-year-old high school girl from a small town in New South Wales. Growing up, I was desperate to please my hardworking single mom. The problem was she was nearly always tired and irritable. So no matter what I said or did, it usually ended up being wrong. The most common words that came out of her mouth were, "If you want me to love you, you have to be nice." I wanted her to love me more than anything else in the world, so I did everything I could to appease her. This led to the need to make everyone happy, and left me with an unfathomable fear of being hated by others. If I made other people happy, then they'd like me, right? So whenever someone asked me to do their homework or cover for them on roll call, I did so without hesitation. And if there's ever an argument or awkward situation, regardless of if I'm to blame or not, I always apologize first. At 15, I moved to Sydney alone for high school, and that's when I met my roommate Margot. She's my complete opposite, but this didn't stop us from becoming best friends. She's independent, sassy, and doesn't let anyone pressure her into doing anything she doesn't want to. Guys, if I were more like her, I would have been able to avoid a lot of trouble. Once we had a group assignment in biology, and I, by chance, teamed up with these two popular girls. The day before the deadline, they both texted me saying they were sick and asked me to do their parts. This was a lot of work for one person, but I didn't want to upset them, so I agreed. But then, that night, while I was scrolling through Instagram during my brief break after hours of studying, I saw them checking in at a party. What? So they lied to me so they could go out and have fun and left me home alone to do their homework? Oh my, I just want to take this pen and throw it right at their dumb duck faces. How is that cute in anyway? Ugh, but who was I kidding? I knew full well I'd never be able to tell them what I really thought of them. So I picked up the pen and continued my workload meant for 3 people alone. I stayed up all night and drank 3 cans of energy drinks, but it was just too much work for one person to finish on time. Our assignment, or should I say, my assignment, got points deducted due to late submission, which somehow made the popular girls mad. What have you done? How could you turn in the assignment late? I'm sorry. It's just that doing it all by myself was a bit too much for me. Oh, please. You had the whole day to finish it. It's all down to your poor time management. Right at that moment, Margot appeared, out of nowhere, and stepped between us. Pfft. If you both cared so much about your grades, then you would have helped Luna complete it. Instead of going to some stupid party, how about I report you to the teacher to cross out your names from Margot? Enough. Sorry, don't mind her. Then I quickly pulled Margot away. Apologizing to them was a ridiculous thing to do. It wasn't your fault. I know it's not my fault, but there's no point making a scene out of it, right? Fine. In that case, I'll leave you alone with all the troubles you've caused yourself. I don't care anymore. Oh, no, I didn't mean to make Margot mad. I quickly apologized to her, told her she was my best friend in the whole world, and asked her to go for a milkshake to make up. A week later, on the day my volunteer club was selling lemonade to raise funds for a children's charity, I suddenly fell sick. Oh no, I'd been telling everyone at the club how important this event was, but now I was the one who'd be absent. How embarrassing. I needed to show them how sincere I was. I texted the club president that I was sick, but if the club really needed me, I could still try to participate. Now I can finally sleep. But who would know? Before I even had time to curl up in bed, he texted back saying how they really needed my help. So if I could come, that'd be great. Oh, no. Did I really have to drag my feverish self over there? Not knowing what to do, I turned to Margot for advice, but she snapped at me. If you knew you couldn't go, why suggest otherwise? People will always take advantage of you if you let them. So just make it clear that you're sick and can't participate. Then she told me how her music club had a dinner meeting tonight, yet she'd already decided she was having a relaxing pamper session tonight, so she immediately told them she was otherwise engaged. Margot was right. If I'd done as she said in the first place, I wouldn't have had to rack my brains looking for excuses to say no without annoying anyone. Finally, I texted the club president that I was afraid of infecting everyone, so I'd better stay home. Then I fell asleep and found my worries plaguing my dreams. The next day, I felt better. So after class, I dropped by the club's room,
but I instantly felt weird vibes from everyone. Then when I asked the club president how much money we'd earned from the event, he totally blanked me. Oh, no. He was obviously still mad with me for letting him down. I was lost in thoughts when suddenly someone tapped me on the shoulder. I heard you were sick. Are you feeling better now? It was Charlie, one of the club members. He told me that day I was off sick. He voluntarily took over all of my work. So I invited him out for a thank you dinner right away. Maybe he misunderstood my goodwill gesture, as after that he bombarded me with texts, calls, and soppy memes. Then one day while we were walking together, Charlie suddenly stopped and took my hand. Luna, we've known each other for a while now. I think it's time for me to confess my feelings. I like you. Will you go out with me? Oh my. What did he just say? I stood there dumbfounded. I mean, I liked him as a friend, but not romantically. But when I met his expectant gaze, my conscience began to torment me. He was such a nice guy, so how could I say no to him? In the end, I forced a smile and nodded in agreement. My feelings for him will develop over time, right? But unfortunately, the answer to this was no. Actually, since we started dating, I found myself liking him even less than before. He does a lot of things that irritate me, such as the time he insisted we wear couple outfits to school. Yeah, slogan shirts with "he's mine, she's mine" printed on them should definitely be left in 2010. Ugh. He smugly ushered me around the school and seemed oblivious to the laughs and points in our direction. If only the ground could just open up and swallow me right away. That evening, noticing how fed up I looked, Margot asked me if everything was going all right between me and Charlie. So I told her everything. I thought she'd get mad at me again, but to my surprise, she just sighed and told me to tell the truth and break up with Charlie before things got too serious. That's the best way to stop both of us from getting hurt. And also, I've heard a lot of bad things about Charlie. People say he's kinda erratic. You better get this over with as soon as possible. Yeah, Margot's right. Next time I saw Charlie, I was ending this once and for all. Turns out I didn't have to wait long, because that Sunday afternoon, Charlie came to pick me up for our date. He told me he had a surprise in store for me, and I was gonna love it. Okay, it sounds like he'd gone to loads of effort, so it was probably best if I left breaking up with him until the journey home. Almost there! Hearing what Charlie said, I looked out the window and, oh my god! Is that a bungee jumping spot? So, long story short, here I am, 200 meters off the ground, my legs trembling like a leaf and my heart thudding like crazy. I was about to cry out of fear when suddenly I heard romantic music playing behind me. I turned around to see Charlie getting down on one knee. Behind him was eagle-eyed staff holding roses and candles while swaying to the music. What's happening? I know we haven't been dating long, but it's clear that we're made for each other. Luna, will you marry me? What? Did I hear him wrong? I mean, I'm only 17. Seeing my puzzled look, Charlie hurriedly said, I know we're still in high school, but don't worry, we can wait till graduation. Then let's have the most wonderful wedding straight after that. This was insane. I stood there, rooted to the floor, not knowing what to do, and seeing everyone watching and waiting made me feel even more pressured. I was trying to figure all this out when Charlie forced the ring on my finger. Oh my god. What should I do? What should I do? Well, in classic me fashion, I didn't do anything. My stupid hand just froze in place. And in the end, it turned out like this. No, I couldn't let this happen. Charlie, actually, I don't have feelings for you. I was going to tell you today, but I didn't expect things to end up like this. You're kidding me, right? If you didn't like me, you wouldn't have let me put the ring on earlier. So I explained everything to Charlie. His face darkened with disappointment. I felt so guilty. I should have just been straight with him from the beginning, then none of this would have happened. We can still be friends, can't we? I asked, but Charlie replied without even looking at me. If you don't like me, then why give me hope? Why the emotionless tone? It felt like he turned into a completely different person. Afraid, I kept quiet, not daring to blurt out so much as a word. I'd be home soon and away from this suffocating atmosphere. But as Charlie drove, I noticed how the surroundings became stranger and stranger. This is definitely not the way to the dormitory. Finally, the car stopped at an abandoned construction site. Luna, get out of the car. Sensing his irritable tone, I did as he said. You can stay here until you've figured out that we're destined for each other. Then call me. I watched in horror as he drove away and left me there. I was all alone, in the middle of nowhere. Panicked, I called Margot for help, but as soon as she picked up, my phone ran out of power. I explored the area, but it was completely deserted. Would I be Stuck here forever without anyone knowing? It was getting late. I'd barely eaten or drank anything all day, and this felt hopeless. I burst into tears, and then everything fell dark around me. I woke up to the bright lights of the hospital. Margot jumped in to give me a hug, then explained what had happened. Turns out that night after I called her, she checked my location on Snapchat and saw that I was in some deserted place. Sensing something was off, Margot and the dormitory manager went to find me and took me to the hospital. Charlie was disciplined and detained for a month for the trouble he'd caused. After that horrible experience, I talked a lot with Margot. She comforted me, encouraged me, and said that it seemed like my desire to please others stemmed from childhood trauma. Perhaps it was my mother's words. If you want me to love you, you have to be nice. That created the character I have now. I couldn't continue to let the past consume me. That summer, when I returned home to see my mom, together, we poured out our feelings and faced our problems. I finally figured out that being nice to people wasn't a bad thing, but agreeing to things just to avoid disappointing people isn't the correct thing to do at all. Now, with Margot's help, I'm step by step learning to say no to things I don't want to do, 'cause life's way too short to say yes to everything. Don't you think?
I'd only just arrived at school, yet I could tell something was up. Dude, what's with all the fuss? Did Carl do something crazy again? Look at this. Jeez, gross. Sorry, wrong direction. This way. Here you go, Miss Stewart, the new principal of our school. In front of me was a stern-looking woman who exuded a terrifying aura. Whew. Well, that was unexpected, as we all assumed that Mr. Smith would take the lead because he'd been serving as school vice principal for pretty much forever. Suddenly, everyone's phone vibrated. Why the stern face? She looks so angry at the world. Is she allergic to our skin? Every skirt is too short, lol. No dance party this year? Unbelievable. Is she a principal or a jailer? Warning you guys, she knows our secret smoking place. Jeez, look at all those faces pinned to their mobile phones. The gossip mongers. Over the next few days, rumors about our new principal seem to be everywhere. Info about her seemed more sought after than Imagine Dragons tickets. Also, from day one of the principal's arrival here, a series of bizarre stories began to circulate. One day I was walking into class and heard the most ridiculous story in the world. My school was haunted. Idiots. I quietly crept under the table, then suddenly poked my head up and shouted, "Boo!" which caused all my friends to jump in fear. Haha, losers. All that spook stuff is nonsense. You don't believe it, huh? Yet Stacy saw it. Oh no, Stacy? I didn't know they dragged my crush into all these silly gossip things. She's usually a smart girl. Not sure what had gotten into her. After that, Stacy lowered her voice and started talking passionately about her chance encounter with a silhouette that appeared in front of the principal's office. But worst of all, before she could get a closer look at it, it vanished. It was probably just the security guard. Nah, when I left, I still saw him dozing off in his room. He even checked the camera and saw Stacy just standing and saying hello, even though nobody was there. Creepy, right? Then the story went further, when someone claimed that the new principal was a witch and was bringing evil forces to the school. Oh my God, Stacy. I needed to pull her out of this mess of nonsense right now. But no matter what I said, she insisted. I saw it with my own eyes. What if she really is capable of dark magic? Oh, come on. We're not kids anymore, Stace. Evil forces, witches, demons, they aren't real. But it's you who might get in trouble when the principal starts investigating who's spreading the rumor. Josh, it's driving me crazy. I need to confirm what I saw. But I'm scared. Can you come with me, please? I hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Okay, back gate, 10 p.m. tonight. Let's just get it over with. Plus, it'd be a great chance to impress my crush, isn't it? That night, I arrived at our meeting point early and waited around. It was freezing, and not gonna lie, I got goosebumps. Okay, calm down, Josh. Ghosts were just tricks of the mind, and it's time to show my future girlfriend how tough I am. As I was deep in my thoughts, a hand suddenly touched my shoulder. Jesus, Stacy! Do you know what time it is? Oh, sorry, I'm a bit late. Did I scare you? Of course not. Let's get inside and end this obsession of yours. But how are we supposed to get in? Stacy pointed at a big hole in the school's fence that was hidden by a bush. We then carefully sneaked through it and successfully avoided the security guard. Piece of cake. Inside, the whole school corridor was pitch black, and the streetlight shone from the glass windows. The scenario looked pretty much like a horror movie, but there was nothing to fear, right? I used the flashlight to guide Stacy to the principal's office when suddenly a loud screech sound made my heart want to stop. Stacy clung to me in fear. Relax, I think it's just the sound of the speakers crackling. Are you scared, Stace? No, let's just go. But then, as soon as the noise stopped, another creepy sound started up. Footsteps. Had the security guard spotted the two of us already? I turned around and there was nothing but an empty space. Just like that, we continued walking, and they walked too. And when we stopped, they stopped. Then as soon as the footsteps began to rush towards us, I grabbed Stacy's hand and ran as fast as I could to the principal's office and slammed shut the door. Listen, Stacy, the footsteps were probably from the security guard. You see, clearly, we're the only ones here, so stop believing in these things, okay? I just finished talking when suddenly the door burst open, and I could see a motionless figure standing there. That's him! Holy mother. I was so scared that I closed my eyes and grabbed onto Stacy. Then when I opened my eyes, the shadow was moving towards us. Terrified, I rushed to the door to escape and, bang, both me and the ghost fell. Mike, are you okay? Mike? The three of us sat awkwardly on the sidewalk outside the school. I didn't need the chilly wind to make my heart feel frozen. As it turned out, Stacy already had a boyfriend, and that boyfriend was none other than Mike, my best friend. Ugh, so much for me wasting my time playing hero. And if you're wondering why Mike was here, the answer was to help Stacy put on this phantom play. That's right. Both the crackling and the footstep sounds were all made by him. Hang on, why did she make up this ghost story thing? Even prepared a whole play for me and the others to acknowledge it? Stacy explained that it was only because the new principal was too harsh, creating strict rules and making it difficult for the students. Huh? But I don't think any of these rules affect her much. I mean, Stacy had always been a model student anyway. So why did she have to take it to this extent? I asked, but Stacy just ignored me and asked me to keep it a secret. In the following days, people kept questioning me on my late-night expedition. At first, I just kept quiet because I didn't want to get involved in annoying gossip and to be reminded of how my best friend turned out to be my love rival. However, rumors about the haunted school spread quickly and reached the press. Fear swallowed the school. A few students even transferred to another one because they were so scared. Although I wasn't a fan of the new principal's strict rules, what Stacy did had gone too far. One day, I was about to find her to figure this out when I saw her walking alone down the exit stairs. Stacy, I know you're the principal's daughter and the admin of the spooky group chat that has been on the rise recently. What? Stacy's the principal's daughter? Unbelievable. And wasn't that person Mr. Smith, the vice principal? Perhaps we're after one same thing. Don't you want your mom to work elsewhere too? Right? But your method doesn't seem to be working so well. So what do you suggest? There is an easier way, that is, hand me your mother's seal. I will take care of this. That's too dangerous. How can I trust you? Now that we're on the same boat, you probably don't want your mother to know what you've done behind your back, do you? As soon as Mr. Smith left, I immediately ran to Stacy. No, you can't do that. You don't even know him personally. Be careful. But Stacy insisted on doing it on her own. She said that since her father passed away, she'd grown tired of her mother's rules. School was the only place she used to feel free. But now, that also been ruined for her. I can't live 24/7 under my mother's containment. Do you understand? Well, it's true that being a teacher's child must be stressful enough already. Not to mention being the child of a strict principal. That would surely be even more exhausting. But conspiring with Mr. Smith was a step too far, right? And what will be, will be. A few days later, a ton of messages regarding the principal faking test scores to improve the school's ranking broke out. And of course, she would be subject to disciplinary procedures and may have to quit her job forever for violating professional ethics. I looked over at Stacy. Her face darkened and suddenly she darted out of the classroom. I chased after her and looked everywhere for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Until I heard a sobbing sound coming from the abandoned canteen. Thank goodness, there she was. Seeing me, Stacy burst into tears and poured her heart out. She could not have foreseen the consequences of her actions and naively let Mr. Smith take advantage of her and created all this. Stace, I think it's best to tell your mom the truth. There's still time to fix this, quick, before it's too late. She wiped her tears and gave me a hug, then agreed to go find her mom. Mom, I'm sorry, I started the rumors and I conspired with Mr. Smith to help ruin your career. I thought the principal was going to go ballistic, but then to my surprise, she came forward and pulled Stacy into her arms. I know things have been tough, since your father was no longer with us. I've just been so worried about you making the wrong choices and going down the wrong path that I started to be stricter on you. I love you. I never meant to put this much pressure on you. I'm sorry. Please forgive Stacy. She never meant to hurt you, and she feels terrible about it. Everything's fine. Thank you very much, Josh, for telling me about this. Huh? You already know everything? Yeah. I was so worried that you would be taken advantage of, so I told her about the conversation you had with the vice principal. As for the rumor that the principal had to quit her job, it was me who spread it. I mean, that's how Stacy realized what she did was outrageous and could have big consequences, right? Although her mom forgave her, Stacy was still nervous because she'd given Mr. Smith her mother's seal. It's okay, dear. What you did accidentally helped me to get evidence of his embezzlement by impersonating me. His misconduct will soon be handled. It's all good now. My work here was done. I fixed things with Stacy and her mom. But most importantly of all, I proved that the school's not haunted. So what's next? Well, Stacy must have been so moved by my heroic actions and started developing feelings for me. As she broke up with Mike, not long after that, then asked me out. But he's my best friend, and there's no way I'm making him sad over a girl, so I turned her down. Besides, her mischievous side is kind of terrifying. Girls are dangerous.